Hey guys, so with the news that Kingdom Hearts Union Cross is coming to an end this year, it really got me thinking back through its story and the lasting impact that it'll have not only on the overarching narrative of the series, but also on me personally. I was never fully invested in the gameplay of this mobile game, and it took me a while to start following the story, but once I started, I learned very quickly that it's one of the best stories in the series. Update after update, the cutscenes would only get more and more exciting, and there was always one that stuck with me, despite how great the following updates were. And that cutscene is titled Siblings. One of the main plotlines in Union Cross had been about Lauriam searching for his sister Strelitzia. In fact, one of the first things Lauriam ever says on screen when he arrives as the last of the Union leaders is, "I apologize for keeping you all waiting. There was something I needed to find." That something was more like a someone, and that someone was his sister Strelitzia. But what he didn't know was that Strelitzia was already dead. While Lauriam had no idea, we the audience already knew what became of his sister, so we would watch each update in anticipation of the moment when Lauriam would learn about her untimely demise. The premise of this plotline was always very simple to understand because as a viewer, it's easy to empathize and sympathize with someone searching for a lost family member. You don't have to question why they're searching in the first place. It is almost universally understood that family is important. You grow up alongside your siblings, and despite having your fair share of fights and problems, at the end of the day, you care about each other, and that's all that matters. However, even though this plotline was easy to understand, it was always missing something. And that something was the interaction between the siblings. By the time we find out that Lauriam is Strelitzia's older brother, she'd already been killed. While we never needed a reason for Lauriam to be searching for Strelitzia in the first place, as her being his sister was reason enough, we didn't know what their relationship was like. She was clearly very important to him, but the nature of their relationship was always unclear until we finally saw the two of them interacting in this cutscene. Siblings begins with the camera opening up, very appropriately on the flowery hill that overlooks Daybreak Town, where Lauriam is taking a daytime nap. From off-screen, we see someone calling out to him, and we know that it's Strelitzia before she even enters because she calls him Big Brother. She then goes on to say, "I thought I'd find you here." And with that alone, we learn two things. One is about Lauriam himself, and the other is about his sibling relationship with Strelitzia. The first thing is that Lauriam often comes to this place when he wants to relax. We already knew that Lauriam's nobody counterpart, Marluxia, has an affinity for plants and flowers, and we see that this is an aspect about his character that has been present since his younger days during Union Cross. The second thing is that he doesn't keep this spot a secret from Strelitzia. He's not trying to get away from her, which means that they have an amicable relationship as siblings. From there, they talk about a few things in a very short amount of time, specifically about collecting Lux, joining the Dandelions, and her feelings toward the player character. Seeing brother and sister talk about personal things going on in their lives was very heartwarming, especially the way Lauriam would tease Strelitzia about her feelings toward the player character. The image that I had of the cold, manipulative, treacherous Marluxia had finally melted away to make room for the kind, supportive, if a little mischievous, but ultimately nurturing older brother that he had always been underneath. The two share a laugh over an inside joke between them, and the camera pans away as a gust of wind blows many petals up into the air over the cliff. The camera fades to black, and when the picture returns, we see that Strelitzia has disappeared. Lauriam is taken by surprise, and he relives the feeling of uncertainty. Uncertainty of where his sister is, what happened to her, and if she's okay. He runs around in search of Strelitzia, calling her name until someone off screen says, "Big Brother." That mirrors her first entrance, but we know that something is different from before. The music is eerie, and her words are devoid of the excitement and enthusiasm that she had earlier. Something is wrong. The camera shifts over to a girl in a white robe with the hood up. We can't see her face, but two pieces of orange hair frame it. Lauriam questions if it's her, and she begins to respond, but then she slowly levitates upward and a flash of white light fills the screen. This part of the scene changed everything, and the questions began. Why was she in a white cloak? What is the meaning behind the white cloak? Is she reaching out to Lauriam from beyond the grave, or is she just part of Lauriam's dream? While it's only been a year since the scene was released, we've still yet to answer any of these questions, but they are interesting to think about, especially when considering Marluxia's Spectre Nobody. When looking at the Marluxia final boss fight in Chain of Memories, it's hard to miss the giant nobody that he rides on top of. It's also hard to miss some physical details about the Spectre Nobody after watching the Union Cross cutscene, especially the large hood and the oversized sleeves, which are reminiscent of Strelitzi's appearance at the end of the dream sequence. It's clear that Strelitzi's appearance here was inspired by the Spectre Nobody, but the question is why? Does that mean that she is the Spectre, or is she a representation of Strelitzia made by Marluxia based on the memories buried deep down from his life as Lauriam? We don't have answers for these questions yet, but I'm excited to find out what the Spectre actually is and how it's connected to Strelitzia. So far, I've described what happens in the cutscene and its significance to the characters involved as well as the greater story, but I haven't really touched on why this cutscene is the most memorable, at least for me, and why I think it will continue to be my favorite cutscene even after we get the final update. In all honesty, I didn't care about Marluxia, or even Lauriam for that matter, until I saw this cutscene. Marluxia had a cool final boss fight in Chain of Memories, but his character never really drew me in. I completely understand that we were never meant to like Marluxia because of how he lied to, manipulated, and betrayed others, but a villain character can still be a likable character. The two examples off the top of my head are Eric Killmonger from Black Panther and Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Both of these characters have those exact same qualities that I just described for Marluxia, but they have something he didn't have for a very long time, which is depth. Their goals have substance. Marluxia didn't, and he still doesn't have any real reason for wanting to overthrow Xemnas besides the desire for power and control. However, I believe that they could still build on that by adding to Lauriam's character. This is why the connection between him and Strelitzia is so important. The cutscene siblings added dimension to him in a way that is unique to only him. Sure, Sora spent Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 searching for Riku much in the same way that Lauriam searched for Strelitzia, but this is his sister we're talking about. This isn't someone whom he had to reconcile with after growing distance from them. This is someone who has always been there and whom he looked after. His motivations to overthrow Xemnas may be connected to this incident between Strelitzia, Ventus, and Darkness, but we won't know that until Lauriam is explored further in the future. I know we have a lot of active plotlines open at the moment, such as Quadratum, Kyrie's training, the mystery of Subject X, and the return of the Foretellers, but I think that Lauriam is in a very unique position to tie most of these plotlines together because of his connection to Ventus and the former Organization 13 members in Twilight Town. And let's not forget a very crucial detail about Lauriam's character. He's a Keyblade wielder from the Age of Fairy Tales. He has a direct connection to the Foretellers and, from the looks of it, Quadratum. So in conclusion, the reason this is my favorite Union Cross cutscene is because it made me care about Lauriam by adding depth to his character, and Strelitzia's character for that matter, through their interactions and the connections made to Chain of Memories. It's for these reasons that I believe that Lauriam is a character that we need to keep a close eye on as we continue through Phase 2 of Kingdom Hearts. Anyways, that's all I have to say on this matter, so if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and share it with a friend. I'd also love it if you could leave a comment sharing which Union Cross scene has been your favorite so far. And I invite my fellow content creators to make a video on their favorite cutscene so far before we get the final one in the next few weeks. I've started doing discussions like this on the channel, but I also have more informative videos about Kingdom Hearts, so if you like these kinds of videos, I welcome you to press the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And that'll do it for me today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, guys.